This time of year, we see a dramatic uptick, not only in transaction volumes, but also in the creation of new accounts. And so this time of year, as transactions go up, as account onboarding goes up, as the necessary authentication to do both of those things, the volumes increase. We see bad actors try and take advantage of that. And so this time of year is one that it's good to revisit and ensure that there's a solid understanding, not only within the workforce of these financial institutions, but also the consumers themselves. How should they be spending on a card, or either digitally or physically? And what are some of the strengths of using more modern methods of payment? And what are some of the things to look for and keep an eye on when opening a new account and beginning to work with? We do see that shortly after account creation is when a lot of bad actors will try and phish and spoof, and AI is accelerating that. We all get a ton of texts and emails impersonating retailers, and we see that when an account is freshly opened, there's more intensity towards trying to exploit that individual. So it's really about vigilance. But fortunately, we're in an era of fantastic technology that, when used correctly, can combat these threats very effectively. Far and away, the most prevalent or most utilized attack is at the point of authentication. So that is to say, trying to log in to either a website or an application. That is where we see the use of things like multi-factor authentication, certainly, but increasingly biometrics as a really potent defense against these attacks on authentication. We do see transaction fraud, so card not present is certainly still around, but it is really being contained by the increase of these digital wallets. So whether it's Apple Pay or Click to Pay or Google Pay, these digital wallets that allow you to transact with a merchant, but tokenize the number, not seed over your core personally identifiable information, creates this layer of security. I mean, to answer your question, it's, I think 82% in our most recent fraud report of attacks are happening at authentication, but increasingly that's converging with biometrics. We see 1 out of 5 attacks in regard to biometrics is using some sort of AI enhanced deepfake. So an impersonation of that person that is, to the naked eye, imperceptible from reality. But with the right type of defense, biometric identity verification, you're able to detect some of these deepfake attacks that, again, make up 20% today. And we really see continue to grow very quickly as we continue to release our annual fraud reports. The most actionable would be in terms of how you pay. So if you're paying in person, using contactless is the most secure way to pay. It is as secure as using the chip and inserting that into the point of sale, but it's faster and a little bit easier, immensely more secure than something like a mag stripe. And so if you're paying in store, obviously using credit offers additional protections over debit. But regardless, if that credential, debit or credit, is contactless, or at least chipped with an EMV chip, that's introducing this aspect of tokenization, where all of your sensitive information isn't just sitting on the servers of the merchant where you just purchased from. That would be for in-store. Online, I think we've all noticed as we shop online, it's becoming less common for us to pull out our credit card and type in all of the information on it, our address, etc., and instead clicking something like one of these digital wallets that enables not only an easier way to pay, but it is also tokenized. And so you're not, again, seeding over that personal information. So in the payments world, using a modern payment credential or a digital wallet is really the safest way to transact. Outside of the payments realm, again, verifying that the person who is reaching out to you is from the institution that they're telling you that they're from, as always. But increasingly, we're seeing AI used to enhance phishing attacks. We see it in better written emails, better written, more personalized texts. Used to, you could sort of look at a text and say, there's a lot of grammatical errors here. This probably isn't from Capital One. But with things like generative AI, it's easier for the bad actors to look really polished and professional. And we're seeing that begin again to work its way into things like deepfake voice, deepfake video. And so ensuring that you're authenticating using, at the very least, multi-factor, ideally biometrics, finding institutions that do secure your identity using a biometric credential is immensely important. But for the day-to-day, it's really about using a modern payment device, either digitally or physically.